You won't believe what this Texas trucker caught on his dash cam. Scientists estimate there are about 8.7 million species of plants and animals on Earth. Of that staggering number, we've only identified about 1.2 million species. Just think about all the unknown creatures that might be out there. From a mysterious monster in the Michigan lake to an unidentified creature spotted in Texas, here are the 20 most mysterious creatures that science cannot explain. Number 20. Wendigo. The people of North America, particularly the Ojibwe, Cree, and Abenaki, are all familiar with the Wendigo. This horrifying entity is one of the most terrifying legends rooted in the region. The Wendigo is associated with the harsh winters and desolate forests of the northern United States and Canada. In the local language, Wendigo roughly translates to evil spirit that devours mankind. You see, this entity is said to haunt those who have succumbed to eating the flesh of their kin. Descriptions of the Wendigo vary, but they share common terrifying traits. Its appearance is almost always described as emaciated, with ashen, mummified skin. Those who have seen the Wendigo claim it has sunken or glowing eyes, sharp fangs, and claws. Some also describe it as a being with antlers or horns. It can stand up to 15 feet tall, but despite its towering height, it's gaunt and skeletal, symbolizing its insatiable thirst and hunger. You'll know it's nearby through the foul odor of decay and corruption it greatly emits. While some believe that the Wendigo is nothing but a mythical entity, others also believe that it's real, though in a different way. You see, some people think that the Wendigo manifests in the form of psychosis. Wendigo psychosis is a condition described in historical accounts where individuals become obsessed with cannibalism. The psychosis was supposedly so strong that those afflicted would crave human flesh even when other food sources were available. Some anthropologists believe this was a cultural explanation for extreme cases of starvation-induced insanity. Whether seen as a metaphor for unchecked greed and the darkness within humanity or a literal monster stalking the snowy forests, the Wendigo's mystery remains to this day. Number 19. A dinosaur-like creature running through the backyard. Take a look at this video uploaded by a homeowner a year ago. In this clip, you can see a dinosaur-like creature running across the yard. Let's watch it again, shall we? What do you think about this video? Is it a hoax? Or is this video showing a surviving close relative of the extinct dinosaurs that we're yet to learn more about? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Number 18. A strange creature spotted in Phoenix Desert. Now, take a look at this bizarre creature captured in the Phoenix Desert. A few hikers were allegedly exploring the arid area when they spotted this slow-moving creature walking on the deserted road. It's unlike anything they had ever seen before. The creature had a large stature, long limbs, and sagging arms. Some claim this is the Chupacabra, while some believe that this is an extraterrestrial creature exploring the Phoenix Desert. Although this video has been online for several years already, the real identification of this creature remains unknown. Number 17. Monstrous skeleton of unknown animal. In 2021, workers digging in the yard of an old spinning factory in the eastern province of Igdir, Turkey, were halted by a rather mysterious discovery: the skeleton of an animal seemingly impossible to identify. The skeleton measured a mere 3.3 feet tall. Although relatively small, it had the teeth of a predator. When workers noticed that some tissue attached to the skeleton still hadn't deteriorated, they immediately reported the discovery to experts at Igdir University's Biodiversity Application and Research Center. Now, the problem is that despite the well-preserved tissue still attached to the animal's limbs, it seemed like the experts were still unable to figure out the exact identification of the animal. And so, people began speculating. Some believed that the creature resembled a goat, but given its teeth, that wouldn't be the right conclusion. Others believed it was the skeleton of a dog, but there are also theories that the skeleton belonged to an extinct species. Unfortunately for us, the puzzle remains open to this day. Number 16. Mysterious skull. Earlier this year, beachcombers and local authorities were stunned when they discovered a massive skull fragment, about 3 feet wide and 2 feet tall, on Hatteras Island, part of the Cape Hatteras National Seashore. Many of the beachgoers were quite perplexed by the skull. It had 2 rows of what appeared to be teeth, and it didn't look like anything they had encountered before. While the beachgoers immediately created several conspiracy theories regarding the identification of the creature, from an extraterrestrial to an undiscovered species, authorities were quick to give theories about what they thought the skull was. According to the National Park Service, this piece is part of a humpback whale skull. Humpback whales, which can grow up to 60 feet long and weigh as much as 40 tons, have unique skull structures that support their feeding habits. They also explained that it's likely that the teeth-like edges observed on the fragment are not actual teeth, but rather part of the bone structure that connects to the whale's jaw. Despite this explanation, there are still many who aren't satisfied and continue to speculate about the truth behind these remains. Number 15. A mermaid or a decomposing sea creature. Looking at this picture, what do you think it is? For most of the beachgoers who saw it at an Australian beach in 2023, the skeleton belongs to a mermaid. Yes, the half-human, half-fish creatures of myths and legends. This skeleton doesn't look like anything we've seen before, which made many quickly theorize that it's that of an unknown creature. Some even dared to call this skeleton a mermaid alien. The strange discovery sparked a wave of curiosity and excitement, with people flocking to the beach to catch a glimpse of this mysterious find. As word spread, theories ranged from the plausible to the outlandish, with some suggesting it could be evidence of a previously unknown species. With its human-like skull, rib cage, and tail skeleton, it's no wonder many would mistake it for a mermaid. You can't deny that it really does resemble the mythical beings based on the photo. While some local experts theorized that the skeleton belonged to a small cetacean, the real classification of this creature was never determined. The ambiguity surrounding the skeleton's origin only fueled the intrigue, leaving many to wonder if this was just another unsolved mystery of the deep. Number 14. Melon Heads. The melon heads are often described as small humanoid beings with oversized, misshapen heads. The legend has different variations depending on the location. In Ohio, particularly around Kirtland and the secluded Wisner Road, the story often involves a sinister figure known as Dr. Crow. According to the tale, Dr. Crow was a mad scientist who conducted experiments on children, causing their heads to swell. The children eventually escaped, burned down the orphanage where they were kept, and fled into the surrounding woods, where they're said to still live to this day. In Connecticut, the legend is similar but involves different locations such as Velvet Street and Zion Hill Road. Here, the melon heads are said to be descendants of asylum patients who were subjected to unethical experiments. After the asylum closed, the patients supposedly moved into the nearby forests, where their descendants continue to live in isolation, preying on those who dare venture too close. Meanwhile, in Michigan, the melon heads legend centers around the Felt Mansion near Saugatuck. The story goes that children with hydrocephalus, a condition that causes the head to swell, were kept in a hospital that eventually shut down. The children, abandoned and left to fend for themselves, became feral and took refuge in the forests. Of course, many are skeptical about the existence of these entities. However, with countless sightings over the years, many people continue to believe in their existence. True or merely figures of myth and legend, until I see one of these creatures with my own eyes, I'll hold off on believing in them. Number 13. Chupacabra. In Spanish, Chupacabra means goatsucker, and the name of this creature alone perfectly explains its origins. The Chupacabra story began back in the mid-1990s. Farmers in Puerto Rico began finding their goats lifeless and completely drained. It was almost as if a vampire had sucked them dry. Following these incidents were sightings of the alleged Chupacabra. The first sightings, which were reported in 1995, described the creature as a reptilian beast with spiky ridges along its back, about 3 to 4 feet tall, and hopping like a kangaroo. However, the more the legend of the Chupacabra persisted and spread from Puerto Rico to Mexico and even the United States, its descriptions also seemed to have evolved. In these regions, it's often depicted as a hairless, dog-like creature with a pronounced spinal ridge, large fangs, and claws. This difference in stories eventually led to countless more theories, including that the Chupacabra might actually be a misidentified coyote suffering from severe mange. Despite its terrifying reputation, many scientists and skeptics believe that the Chupacabra is either a misidentified animal or a product of mass hysteria. Other theories suggest hoaxes or the misinterpretation of known animals' behaviors and appearances. Are you one of the believers who think that Chupacabra exists, or do you think it's nothing but a misidentified creature? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Number 12. A mysterious monster in the sewer. Sewers are one of the most unpleasant places in the world. Need I say more? These dark, damp tunnels are often associated with urban legends and horror stories, from tales of alligators lurking in the sewers of New York City to the infamous fatbergs clogging London's underground. There are a lot of things hidden in sewers, and most of them are things we don't want to see. Look at this clip captured by a camera in the sewers. You can see a bizarre creature passing by the camera. Did you see it? Let's watch it one more time. You can see a creature with an elongated body, long limbs, and an equally long tail. Strangely enough, its head seems small for its body. With how quickly it moved, the camera wasn't able to capture clear footage. What do you think this creature could be? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Number 11. Loveland Frogman. It's 1955, and a traveling businessman gallivanting near the Little Miami River in Loveland, Ohio, had a rather strange encounter. The man, allegedly named Robert Honeycutt, claimed that it was around 3:30 in the morning when he came across three bipedal, quasi-reptilian entities congregating by the side of the road. These creatures, described as 3 to 4 feet tall with leathery skin and frog-like faces, were said to be conversing with each other. He even claimed that he saw one of them pull out a wand that emitted sparks. Rather than flee from the admittedly bizarre scene, Robert pulled his car to the curb and observed the creatures for 3 minutes before the said creatures could notice his existence. He fled post-haste. This is the first sighting of the Loveland Frogman, and it sparked the beginning of these cryptids legend. This sighting wasn't followed by another notable one until 1972. This time, a police officer named Ray Shockey was the one who had a brush with these bizarre beings. Late one night, Shockey reported seeing a creature with similar descriptions, standing on hind legs with a frog-like face and leathery skin. Another officer, Mark Matthews, also encountered the creature, which he initially thought was a large iguana. It seemed like the sightings had a lot of things in common, including the entity's height, which typically ranged from 3 to 4 feet, their leathery skin, and their webbed feet and hands. Most sightings have also occurred at night. With more and more sightings being reported each year, the Loveland Frog soon became a sort of local legend, inspiring everything from festivals to even musicals. It also seems that instead of being terrified and driving these entities away, they were welcomed by the local community. It even went as far as naming the Frogman as Loveland's official mascot in 2023. And so, despite skeptics, the existence of the Loveland Frog remains one of the most debated subjects by local experts. Number 10. Unidentified creature along Lake Michigan. On a stormy Wednesday morning, Grand Haven resident Sheila Schmidt noticed something unusual on the beach. Initially, she thought it might be a dead cow due to its size and shape. However, upon closer inspection, she realized it was something much stranger. Schmidt described the creature as having patches of hair, with most of it likely eroded from prolonged exposure to water. She quickly took photos and shared them online, which I guess is the most sensible thing to do nowadays. The discovery sparked widespread curiosity and speculation. Locals and internet users have proposed various theories, ranging from a decomposed deer to a marine animal, or even something more fantastical like a cryptid. And yes, you guessed it, to this day the identity of this creature remains a mystery. Some biologists suggest it might be an animal like a goat or a deer that had been in the water for an extended period, leading to its unusual appearance, though this has never been confirmed by researchers. Number 9. Honey Island Swamp Monster. In 1963, a retired air traffic controller named Harlan Ford and his friend Billy Mills reported seeing a large, hairy creature in the swamp. Standing about 7 feet tall, this creature was described as having dingy gray hair, glowing yellow or red eyes, and a foul odor. This has now become the first sighting of the Honey Island Swamp Monster. Following this encounter, Ford and Mills reported finding large three-toed footprints and carcasses viciously left behind by a predator in the woods. They made plaster casts of these footprints, which have since been analyzed by various experts without a definitive conclusion. But perhaps the most well-known evidence tied to this creature is that of a Super 8 film captured by Ford himself one snowy day in the 1970s. It shows an ape-like being with glowing red eyes. Now, there are several theories about the origins of the Honey Island Swamp Monster. One popular story suggests that it could be a descendant of chimpanzees that escaped from a circus train crash in the early 20th century. Another theory posits that it could be an undiscovered species, possibly a remnant of prehistoric reptiles adapted to the swamp environment. Number 8. An allegedly possessed woman. This video has been circulating on the internet recently. It shows two women in dresses. However, one of them is dragging the other up a building for some bizarre reason. This woman has enough strength not only to scale the building with her bare hands but also to carry the weight of another woman simultaneously. There are speculations that this clip might be a hoax, but there are others who believe that this is a real woman who's possessed. Possession is something that even science cannot explain. It is often described as the phenomenon where a person's body and actions are controlled by an external supernatural entity, such as a demon, spirit, or ghost. The signs of possession can vary but typically include behavior that is out of character for the individual, such as violent outbursts, speaking in tongues, displaying superhuman strength, and exhibiting knowledge they would not have naturally acquired. From a psychological standpoint, what's often interpreted as possession can be explained by various mental health conditions. Psychotic disorders such as schizophrenia can cause individuals to hear voices or believe they're controlled by an external force. However, for some reason, possessed individuals often suddenly acquire immense strength out of the blue. Because of this, possession and spirits remain a mysterious phenomenon that even scientists cannot fully explain. Number 7. Skunk Ape. Another being closely related to the Honey Island swamp monster is the skunk ape. The skunk ape, also referred to as the Florida Bigfoot, is a bipedal ape-like creature reported to inhabit the swamps of Florida, especially the Everglades. It stands between 5 and 7 feet tall and is covered with reddish-brown or black fur. What sets the skunk ape apart from other Bigfoot-like creatures is its notorious smell, often compared to that of a skunk, hence its name. Reports of the skunk ape date back to the 1960s, with a significant increase in sightings occurring during the 1970s. In 1997, Ochope Fire Control District Chief Vince Dorr captured a photograph of a dark upright figure he claimed to be the skunk ape. The sighting led to over 50 reports of similar creatures in the Big Cypress National Preserve within 2 weeks. In 2000, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office received 2 photographs from an elderly woman depicting a large, hairy creature she believed to be an escaped orangutan stealing apples from her porch. These images, known as the Mayaka skunk ape photos, have fueled ongoing debates about their authenticity. Despite the uncertainty surrounding its appearance, the skunk ape has become an integral part of Florida's folklore. In fact, a skunk ape research headquarters was even established in Ochope, Florida, serving as a hub for everyone interested in searching for this creature. Number 6. Florida woman finds bizarre creature in her backyard. Kelly Gahan, a resident of Titusville, Florida, found a bizarre carcass on her property in 2019. This discovery has left local experts scratching their heads. Kelly's boyfriend first stumbled upon the strange remains on their 5-acre property. Kelly described the carcass as unlike anything she had seen before, with an oddly shaped head and body. She uploaded photos of the said creature online, and as soon as Kelly's photos hit the internet, the speculation began. Some thought it might be a decayed goat or a monitor lizard, given its unusual appearance and state of decomposition. Fortunately, the Florida Department of Fish and Wildlife stepped in to provide some clarity. After examining the photos, they suggested that the carcass was likely that of a raccoon or an opossum. Despite the explanation, however, many remained skeptical and believed the creature was actually that of an unknown species. With how decomposed and dried out the creature was, it was unfortunately impossible to deduce the real identity of the shriveled remains. Number 5. Hopkinsville Goblins. On the night of August 21, 1955, the Sutton family and their friend Billy Ray Taylor experienced something that would forever change their lives. Around 11 p.m., Taylor went outside to fetch water from the well when he saw a strange glowing object land in a nearby gully. Terrified, he ran back to the farmhouse and told the others what he had seen. Skeptical but curious, the group armed themselves and ventured outside to investigate. What they saw was something that defied explanation. Small humanoid creatures about 3.5 feet tall, with large glowing eyes and long arms that almost reached the ground, began approaching the house. The creatures had round, oversized heads and claw-like hands. For the next several hours, the family protected themselves against these creatures. The goblins would retreat into the darkness only to reappear at different locations around the farmhouse, sometimes peering through windows or scratching at the roof. Eventually, out of sheer terror, the family fled to the Hopkinsville police station to seek help. The police, state troopers, and military police from nearby Fort Campbell arrived at the farmhouse to investigate. They found evidence of a struggle, but no trace of the said creatures was found. The lack of physical evidence led many to speculate that the family had either imagined the encounter or concocted a hoax. However, the family insisted they never fabricated anything they had reported that night. Over the years, various theories have been proposed to explain the Hopkinsville Goblins. Some suggest that the creatures were actually great horned owls, which have large eyes, long wings, and can appear quite menacing at night. Others believe the sighting could have been influenced by a meteor shower that occurred that evening, causing the family to misinterpret natural phenomena as extraterrestrial beings. This incident remains one of the most intriguing and well-documented cases of alleged extraterrestrial contact, fueling debates and investigations to this day. Number 4. A monster on the Wessex Way. In 2007, a traffic surveillance camera on the Wessex Way stretch of the A338 in Bournemouth, England, captured footage of a strange creature. The video shows the creature crossing the central crash barrier, narrowly avoiding a collision with a car. Strangely enough, the creature disappeared into the shadows and was never seen again. At first glance, the creature appears to resemble a deer due to its graceful leap over the barrier. However, closer inspection reveals significant differences. The creature's hind legs do not match those of typical quadrupeds like deer, dogs, or horses. Instead, they resemble human legs with knees rather than hocks. What's creepier is that its shoulders and upper body appear too broad for a deer, leading some to speculate that it might be a different kind of animal altogether. But is it really an animal? Some suggest it could be a skinwalker, a creature from Native American folklore said to have the ability to transform into different animals. Others propose it might be a wendigo or perhaps a feral human living in the wild. To this day, this video is still beyond comprehension. Number 3. Jogger encounters unknown creature on the road. On the 28th of February, a gentleman named Harry Hayes was out for his regular jog in Merrickville when he came across something unusual on the road. He saw a slimy alien-like creature with tiny eyes lying motionless on the damp pavement. Unsure about what the creature was, he recorded a short video of it and then uploaded it on social media, hoping that someone online would help classify the creature. The video quickly went viral, drawing attention from curious onlookers and experts alike. People suggested various possibilities, from an animal embryo to an alien creature. Some even joked that it might be a herald for the upcoming apocalypse. The creature's strange appearance and the lack of immediate identification fueled wild speculation, with some viewers insisting it could be an undiscovered species. Despite numerous theories, the creature's identity remains a mystery. Biologists and academics were baffled, with no consensus on what it could be. The incident has since become a topic of intrigue, leaving many to wonder if we might never know the true nature of Harry's bizarre find. So, any guesses? Number 2. Unidentified creature spotted roaming in Texas Zoo. In the early hours of May 21, 2022, a security camera at the Amarillo Zoo captured an image of a bizarre figure just outside the zoo's perimeter fence. The snapshot, taken around 1:25 a.m., shows what appears to be a creature standing on 2 legs. This prompted the city of Amarillo to reach out to the public for help identifying the strange entity, which they've dubbed the Unidentified Amarillo Object, or in short, UAO. Social media users have suggested everything from a person in a costume to a large coyote standing on its hind legs, and even more outlandish ideas like a Chupacabra or an alien. Michael Kashuba, director of Parks and Recreation for the city of Amarillo, emphasized that there was no indication of any attempted entry into the zoo and that no animals or individuals were harmed. Despite the flood of theories, no definitive identification has been made to this day. Now it's time for today's topic. On a cold and foggy night in the remote woods of the Big Thicket in East Texas, a trucker named Dale was making his usual late-night delivery. The road was quiet, the only sound being the hum of his truck's engine as it cut through the darkness. As he navigated the winding roads near Cook's Lake, something caught his eye, a shadowy figure standing just off the side of the road. Dale's heart raced as his truck's headlights briefly illuminated the figure. His dashcam, mounted on the dashboard, captured the eerie scene. The figure was massive, easily standing over 8 feet tall, with broad shoulders and long, powerful limbs. What struck Dale the most were the glowing red eyes that stared directly into his truck. The creature's appearance was unmistakable. This was no bear or human, but something far more mysterious. As Dale sped past, he glanced in his rearview mirror only to see the figure disappear into the dense forest. He couldn't believe what he had just seen, but the dashcam footage confirmed his worst fears. Word of the sighting quickly spread, with many locals claiming that Dale had encountered the legendary Sasquatch, a creature rumored to roam these very woods. The footage sparked a flurry of interest, drawing cryptozoologists and thrill-seekers from across the country, all eager to glimpse the elusive beast captured in the haunting footage. Number 1. Cryptids that look like pants. Did you know that one of the most perplexing creatures that scientists still can't explain is a being that looks like a pair of pants? Introducing the Fresno nightcrawlers. The story of these creatures began in 2007, when a man named Jose set up a security camera to figure out what was causing his dogs to bark incessantly at night. What he captured on the footage wasn't a wild animal nor an intruder. It was something far stranger. The grainy video showed what looked like a pair of disembodied white pants walking along his yard. Needless to say, Jose was terrified by what he saw. He promptly shared the security footage with a paranormal investigator. The footage quickly gained attention, and soon the Fresno nightcrawler became a viral sensation. So what exactly is a Fresno nightcrawler? Well, we aren't exactly sure. These creatures appear to be all legs with no discernible torso or arms. Standing about 4 to 6 feet tall, their bodies are slender and pale, moving in an eerie manner. Some speculate that the Fresno nightcrawler might be an extraterrestrial being due to their eerie appearance and the way they move. Others, however, believe that the Fresno nightcrawlers are a new species, possibly a primate with short arms. There are also those who think that these creatures are misidentified deer standing upright, which in itself is equally weird. Some also believe the nightcrawlers are merely puppets on a wire or birds walking like cranes. These creatures remain one of the most mysterious beings ever spotted on camera. Which of these creatures do you find the most mysterious? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video.